Austin is booming in terms of both jobs and new apartments. Never before in 2 decades has Austin seen this many apartments set to complete. At the same time, a lot of jobs are projected to be added. So what's in store for the Austin apartment market? Welcome to Apartment Market Dynamics from NPF Research. I'm Jay Parsons with your Austin update. Outside of the Sexy Six and maybe a couple other of Tier 1A markets, few markets have been sought after as much by apartment developers and investors as Austin, Texas. This chart here says it all. It shows ongoing construction levels going back 2 decades, and you can see that we are at a 20-year high. At the peak, nearly 17,000 units under construction, and once all that is built, it will expand the apartment base here by 7.3%. That's an incredibly big number, and there are only 4 markets in the country at even 5% or more, those being Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham, Nashville, and Charleston. Now take a look at this chart showing 2 things: annualized apartment completion totals and annualized job change going back again 2 decades. And what you see here is that we have an oddly inverted relationship between jobs and apartment supply in Austin. The last 3 cycles in which we've seen big job growth in Austin, we've seen very few apartments built. And in the previous 2 periods of significant apartment supply, we saw no job growth. So what does that mean for Austin? Is Austin doomed with all these apartments on the way? We don't think so, although you can't rule that out since no one really predicted the last 2 significant drop-offs in jobs. But it's certainly not the mainstream view. All expectations, for what it's worth, is that Austin will continue to generate a lot of jobs. And so if that occurs, what it means is that Austin will see something that it hasn't seen in 20 years. A lot of apartment supply and a lot of job growth. So what does that mean for apartment fundamentals in Austin? Well, it's hard to say since there isn't any precedent for what we're seeing here. But if it's any indicator, we have seen this occur briefly in another Texas market, that being Dallas, back in 2000. And in that period, occupancy and rent growth held up remarkably well thanks to strong economic growth, helping absorb all that new supply that came into the picture. And so far, at least in this cycle, that's what we're seeing in Austin as well. Occupancy remains quite healthy at 95.1%, and that's actually up 40 basis points year over year, even with completions being elevated, with 6,700 units completing in the past 12 months. But demand was even stronger than that, so occupancy was up. Lots of pent-up demand for new product here, and we do expect demand to remain strong and probably get even stronger given increased product availability. And rent growth levels have held up probably better than most people expected. And to be candid, we've maintained a pretty optimistic forecast for Austin rents, and we've encountered some resistance among clients for that forecast. But so far, rent growth has been better than even our, by most views, optimistic forecast indicated. Rent growth has been around the 4 to 5% range year over year for nearly 2 years now. So does this optimism extend through 2014 into 2015 as supply becomes much, much bigger? To a degree, yes, but we do expect some moderating to occur. Our view is that demand remains strong but begins to trail supply levels later this year and into 2015, and that brings occupancy down moderately, and that'll lead to enough pullback at the top end that we think overall rent growth will come in just under 3%. But with an inventory growth rate of 7%, a rent growth of a number of around 3% would still be a very, very impressive number. And that wraps us up for Austin. So until next time, for Apartment Market Dynamics and NPF Research, I'm Jay Parsons. Thank you for watching.
Want more? Go deeper with NPF Research's apartment market reports. From a national level, down to individual metros, to specific neighborhoods, NPF Research has been providing unparalleled apartment market intelligence to the multifamily industry for almost 5 decades. Learn more by contacting us at 877-284-4938 or visit www.npfresearch.com and click on Market Reports.